back to my channel. We're gonna skip the part where I say it's been way too long and give you an excuse as to where I've been and why I haven't posted, and just jump right into the disclaimers for this video. Alright, so you guys have read the title, so you know that we're gonna be talking about rape culture, and with that we have to discuss rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment, which can be triggering things for survivors, friends and families of survivors of those types of assaults. So I would say watch my disclaimers first, and then decide whether or not you want to continue to watch this video, because my intention is not to trigger anyone or to put someone in a negative space with this video. Also, just excuse any noises. My neighbors are having construction done on their home. People are in and out of my own building, so alright you guys, so before we jump into this video, I do have a few disclaimers. The first being that I will not be sharing any personal detailed stories of like things that I have been through or dealt with in regards to sexual harassment, assault, or rape. I just don't think this is the video where I do that. I don't want to share anything that I've been through, and it's just one less way where people won't be triggered by this video. With that being said, this is my personal opinion. I am not an expert by any means. Rape culture is something that I did my senior capstone on while I was in college, so I have researched it. I have done a research project on it. I have studied it, but again, I am no expert. This is all just my opinion and opinions that I have formed through research and just through my own interactions with society, I guess you can say. This video is going to be very heteronormative, and I apologize for that. One, I don't think that gender is a binary. I believe that it is a spectrum. And secondly, I don't want people to think that I only think that women can be subjected to these things. Obviously, I know that males can be subjected, gender non-binary can be subjected, transgenders can be affected. Everybody under the sun can be a victim / survivor of sexual assault, harassment, or rape. But just for time's sake, and just because I am not a member of all of the gender spectrum, and I'm very much so a cis woman, it's just the avenue that I'm able to address, I think, properly. Double standards. Double standards are something that go very in line with a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. However, I am aware that there are double standards in our society. I am aware that that is a very big problem in our society, but that can be made into a video in and of itself again. So for time's sake, we are just going to push past those things. And if you guys want to see a video of me discussing double standards and where I think they stem from, and we will talk about it a little bit in this video, but again, it's not to the extent where it deserves, I guess, is the best way to put it. So, first things first, I'm going to read, because I don't have it memorized, my definition of rape culture. So, rape culture is the normalization of society of sexual violence through harmful stereotypes and objectifications. And this definition, and like kind of like where I got it from and why I think this is the not correct but a good definition, and all of that will become more clear throughout the video. But I guess the best place to start is where I think rape culture starts, and that's with babies. When babies are born, and even before they're born, so are the double standards that we just talked about in the disclaimers. What I mean by this is that we instantly, depending on what sex the baby is, now keep that in mind, I said sex, not gender. Depending on what sex a baby is born as, we assign gender expectations. So the whole boy versus girl, pink versus blue, the whole idea that girls are to be demure and soft and emotional and quiet and sweet and caring, and boys are meant to be emotionless, tough. The whole idea of like boys liking trucks, girls liking Barbies. Those little gender expectations, even though they seem to be very minimal, they're very harmful because you're already ingraining these preconceived notions of what children should be at a very young age before they can make any decisions for themselves. We, start to excuse boys' behavior. We've all heard the saying, boys will be boys, locker room talk. All of these things are excusing male behavior. Not only that, but we're telling boys that it's okay for them to be sexual beings. Meanwhile, girls cannot be sexual beings, because if a girl is a sexual being, then they're a whore, they're a slut. They're not supposed to do those things, right? So what we're really teaching starts in the home. We teach our boys it's okay for little Tommy to have a girlfriend, but little Susie better not, because her dad will beat his ass. So those little at-home things are where gender expectations and those negative stereotypes kind of stem from, or at least begin. Okay, so it's school. The number one thing that bothers me about schools, and the number one thing that I think feeds into rape culture, or that rape culture feeds off of in school, is dress codes. Now don't get me wrong, I do think that dress codes are necessary. I do think that uniforms can be necessary and beneficial. I get the dress code policy of certain colors because, there are gang activities in some school. My school, in high school, for a really long time was known for gang activity, so I understood that. And as far as the uniforms, I understand that making a level playing field as far as brand goes, in like elementary school kids and middle school kids not being able to make fun of somebody for not having fucking name brand clothing, that I'll get. Where it bothers me is when the school doesn't have a uniform, but you're still telling these kids how and what to wear, aside from colors, right? So I strongly believe that dress code policies target girls more than boys, okay? Because for boys, and again, I'm generalizing and this is very heteronormative, so don't take it too deep now. For boys, you can't wear your hood, you can't wear your hats, you can't, be shirtless in school unless it's PE. Because I remember at my school, a lot of guys would walk around without their shirts on, or their like tank tops or sleeveless t-shirts, that sort of thing, right? But for girls, you can't wear crop tops, you can't wear sleeveless shirts, your shoulders should not be exposed, your belly button should not be exposed, you can't wear shorts that are shorter than your knee or like your fingertips, and all of this stuff, right? We got so many rules for women or for girls. And the reason I think that that's wrong is because my shoulders should not be sexualized, okay? A teenage girl, a middle school girl, an elementary school girl's shoulders should not be sexualized, okay? If little Tommy is having trouble focusing in class because little Susie's shoulders are exposed, then little Tommy's the one with the problem, not little Susie or whatever the fuck I named her. She just has shoulders, which is what little Tommy also has shoulders. That's where it starts to piss me off. That's where dress codes, I think, go wrong for me. Because we're teaching young girls to be ashamed of their bodies and their sexuality, okay? One, we should not be sexualizing young girls, okay? That's number one. By telling them to be ashamed of their bodies because it's distracting their male counterparts, you're shaming them, okay? That's not healthy. That teaches them that all the blame is on them as a female, as a woman, as a girl. Okay? You're telling young girls that it's their fault. It's their body's fault that their male counterparts can't control themselves. When really that's not what it should be, okay? There's no reason why little Susie cannot wear shorts to school, because her male counterparts will be distracted. You see where the issue is there? We're assigning all the blame on the girls and going back to that boys will be boys toxicity. And that's just not okay. Let's bring it all together to just calling this society as a whole, right? So we've talked about how family plays a part in this. We've talked about how school plays a part of this. Society as a whole loves to slut shame women. Okay? What do I mean by this? I mean name calling based off what women choose to wear. You know, the media plays a huge part on this. A girl can't post a picture in her bikini because she gets called a slut or a whore or this and that. You know, the whole men can be players and have multiple women or sleep with multiple women in a short amount of time. But if a girl goes on dates with multiple men or even sleeps with multiple men, she's a slut, she's loose, she's a bop, she's whatever it is, right? So society very much so continues to feed into this slut shaming and blaming women. So how does all of this, right? How does everything we just talked to lead, or how is it rape culture? How does this all add up? It's very simple, okay? It's very, very simple, believe it or not. 1, we are devaluing females, okay? We are seeing women as objects. We are still seeing women as less than men. That has not changed. Has it gotten better? Yes. Have women come into our own and been trying to step up and have our voices heard? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, society as a whole is still doing a damn good job of devaluing women. The next way it leads to rape culture is victim blaming. Okay, and I'm going to give a few examples of victim blaming. Not specific, just general. When a woman wears something out, right? She gets raped. What are some of the things we hear? We hear them say, oh, well, what was she wearing? Why was she wearing that? Why was she dressed like that? Right? With Cardi B's twerk video, politicians started coming for her saying, well, how does this empower women? Because it's a bunch of gorgeous women twerking and shaking their asses, right? And Cardi B said, because I can wear what I want, and that doesn't mean I'm asking for it, right? That's a form of victim blaming. It's blaming the woman for what she's wearing. Or blaming the woman for drinking that night, right? Or blaming the woman for even being at that place in that time, right? That's victim blaming. That is what rape culture is, right? You take all of that and you start to normalize this behavior, okay? And we've seen this time and time again, and more so with our society in general. We're normalizing rape. We're normalizing sexual assault. We're normalizing sexual harassment, right? So everyone's out here saying, well, everything is sexual harassment now. No, it's not. It's not. Don't normalize it. So when we start to normalize this behavior, when we say, oh, well, boys will be boys, or we say, oh, well, that's just locker room talk, or, well, it is what it is, shit happens, or, we can't go back in time and fix it. That sort of thing, when we start to normalize the behavior, when we start to gloss over things, when we start to victim blame, when we start to devalue the life of these human beings, that's when rape culture decides to thrive. That's when our society approves and backs rape culture, okay? Because we're subscribing to those ideas. When we tell people in a courtroom that a rapist has had enough trauma, okay, and he should just be let go on probation, that's rape culture. That's us as a society being okay with being part of that rape culture, okay? So rape culture is the normalization of sexual violence through negative stereotypes, gender expectations, double standards, victim blaming, etc., and objectification of women, the devaluing, the seeing as less than. That is what rape culture is. Alright, amores, I hope I wasn't just rambling and some of this made sense to you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And I have a question for you guys. What does rape culture mean to you? Whether it be before you watched this video, now that you've watched my video, maybe now that you've done more research of your own, etc., etc. I want to know what you guys think rape culture is. Does it exist? Am I crazy? Go ahead and just let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe if you're brand new here. My name is Zyra. Most people just call me Z. Follow me on Twitter. All of that will be at the end of this video and in the description box below, as well as my Instagram and my Snapchat. If you add me on Snapchat though, message me and let me know that you're like one of my subscribers or that you watch my videos, because I've been turning off social media right now. I've been on it less and less, or I'll choose one platform to be on at a time, so I'm not like flipping through apps all day every day and wasting my damn time, because Lord knows. But yeah, go ahead and follow me on social media. Hit me up. I love hearing from you guys. I did like a story the other day, or I did like a question on Instagram, and one of my subscribers happened to be on there and said like, oh, I used to watch your videos. My whole little heart just fluttered. I do miss you guys. I will be posting more. I know that I say that every single time, but I am motivated. 2019, we coming in strong. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you.